when you sleep, God is working it out. You think nothing is happening, God is working it out.
Dr. Tony Evans says even when the Lord doesn't seem close by, his providence proves that he's as near as our next breath.
You can call that luck if you want to, but I know it was the invisible hands of God working it out.
This is The Alternative with Dr. Tony Evans, author, speaker, senior pastor of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship in Dallas, Texas, and president of the Urban Alternative. It seems like some people can't catch a break, while others have everything handed to them. But Dr. Evans says there's nothing random about who you are and what you have. We'll discover the part that God's providence plays in all of that as we join him.
In most kitchens represented in this room, if not all, there are blenders. These blenders are designed to take independent foods and integrate them to create something new, bigger, and better than any one item could be on its own. What a housewife does in a kitchen when she mixes the batter for a cake, God does with the universe. He is the consummate blender. His ability to take unrelated things to come up with something bigger, better, and more beautiful than what he started with is absolutely amazing. No story in the Bible illustrates God's ability to do that like the book of Esther. The book of Esther is unique in all of the Bible, because it is the only book in the Bible where God's name is not found. But while the name of God is not present in the book of Esther, his fingerprints are everywhere. There is a word for this in theology. The word is providence. Providence is the hand of God in the glove of history. Providence refers to God's governance of all events so as to direct them toward an end. It is God taking what you and I would call luck, chance, mistakes, happenstance, and stitching them into achieving his program. One of the realities of providence is often God's providential dealings are done behind the scene. Sometimes it happens and it doesn't look like it ought to be happening. It looks like it was a mistake. It looks like things are chaos and out of order, when it's really invisible hands pulling strings to bring about his perfect plan. Well, in the book of Esther, God's people are living outside of God's will. God had told them to go back to Israel from Babylon, but many of them did not go back. They stayed. They have become comfortable in what is now Persia. So God takes a step back in the book of Esther. Does not even allow his name to be used, since its context is the people living outside of God's will, in order to teach us something about God through the life of a diva. Through the life of a young lady who's described in chapter 2, verse 7 this way. He was bringing up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had no father or mother. Now the young lady was beautiful of form and face. And when her father and her mother died, Mordecai took her as his own daughter. The story leading up to an understanding of Esther coming on the scene and literally becoming the star of the show was the head of Persia, Ahasuerus, having a banquet. There are about 5 banquets in these few chapters. Ahasuerus liked the party. And he had a banquet, and it was typical for the women to be in one place and the men to be in another when he was having a banquet among his officials. His wife's name was Vashti. He told Vashti, his beautiful wife, to come in and display herself before all the men at the party. That probably implied some not just to walk in the room and walk out, but since it goes on to talk about how beautiful Vashti was, It probably indicates some sort of uncovering and disclosure, perhaps a Playboy centerfold, if you will. And Vashti said, oh no, I'm not doing that. Ahasuerus says, no, you don't understand. I'm the king. To which Vashti responds, you a fool. After hearing that, the king decides to get rid of his wife. When he gets sober, chapter 2, verse 1, after these things, the anger of the king Ahasuerus had subsided. He remembered Vashti and what she had done and what had been decreed against her. In other words, he came to his senses. You done lost your mind. The problem is, in Persia, there was a law. It was the law of the Medes and the Persians, which simply said, when you make a decree, you can't reverse it. When the king makes a decree, he made a decree that Vashti is banished, he can't reverse his decree, and now he's depressed. He done gone from drunk to Prozac. So the king's attendants come up with an idea. They say, why don't you, verse 2, let all the beautiful virgins be brought before the king, and let's get another fine lady to take her place. There are a whole lot of pretty women out here. So don't get all depressed about Vashti. Let's parade the most beautiful women in the kingdom. Now, the author wants you to know Esther was pretty. Girl was looking good, and she was one of the ladies identified to be brought before the king for consideration to be his new bride. So it came about in verse 8, when the command and the decree of the king was heard, and many of the young ladies were gathered in the citadel of Susa. Verse 9, the young lady pleased him, Esther, and found favor with him, so he quickly provided her with cosmetics and food and gave her 7 choice maids from the king's palace and transferred her and her maids to the best place in the harem. In other words, she was prettier than all the rest. Esther did not make known her people or her kindred, for Mordecai, her cousin, had instructed her that she should not make them known. Girl, don't tell them who you are. Just go and look pretty, but don't tell them who you are. Now the plot thickens, because there's a guy in the kingdom named Haman. Haman has been promoted in chapter 3, verse 1, by the king to a high position. And like a lot of folk who get promoted, he got the big head and thought he was more of himself than he ought to have thought. The king commands that everybody give recognition, verse 2 of chapter 3, to Mordecai. Then the king's servant who were at the king's gate said to Mordecai, why do you transgress the king's command? In other words, Mordecai wouldn't bow to Haman, who had been promoted. Now it was when they had spoken daily to him, he would not listen to them, and they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's reason would stand, why he wouldn't bow, for he hadn't told them he was a Jew. So here we've got this Jew who ought to be happy he's alive, refusing to bow. Haman, verse 5, is filled with rage that Mordecai won't bow. So he decides, verse 6, to kill all the Jews. He's ticked off at one man and he wants to wipe out the whole race. Now that's the story to this point. In the first 3 chapters, we got a pretty girl who catches the eye of the king because his first wife wouldn't do right. It's just a story of life. We've got intrigue because we've got a man being promoted, a man who won't bow to the man being promoted, and the man who's been promoted wants to kill the whole race of a man who won't bow. The woman who catches the eye of the king is the cousin of the man who won't bow, Mordecai. Mordecai has raised her up because Esther's mother and father have died. So what you got is life situations. You've got life scenario. What you got is a soap opera. A law gets passed. At the end of chapter 3, kill the Jews. Haman wants them dead. Get rid of them. So this is bad news. Mordecai sends a message to Esther. Now is the time to tell him who you are. Esther writes back, Mordecai, you don't understand how things work in the palace. Because up here in the palace, you just can't go into the king like that. In fact, me and the king haven't hooked up for 30 days. We're not even talking right now. And what you're asking me to do is risk my future and my well-being for y'all. I don't live with y'all no more. I live in the king's palace. My name is Esther. I'm a star. Mordecai gets the note, and he has a note. His note is in verse 13. Then Mordecai told them to reply to Esther. You think because you're not willing to act, God's not going to act. He says, don't think you're going to escape by keeping quiet. Yes. Esther had not made the connection, here it is, between her beauty, her opportunity, yes, and the kingdom of God. Yes. God had placed her in a position of influence to deliver his people. It wasn't just about her car, her clothes, her furniture, her lifestyle, her bank account. Have you ever considered that maybe God has you here in the kingdom for such a time as this? That everything that's happened till now was moving to this point.
When Dr. Evans continues our message in just a moment, he'll take us to the turning point of the story. Right now, though, he's here with a special word for us. Dr. Evans?
As we come to the end of this year, we are in need of special friends to make special gifts to our ministry. Unfortunately, only a small percentage of those who are blessed by our ministry support our ministry. And so we've been dependent upon a few to help us to do a lot. We need to broaden that. If you are blessed by the ministry of the Urban Alternative in any way, would you express that tangibly, not only with your prayers, but with your generous year-end financial gift and support? Thank you for standing with us, especially during this holiday season, and may you be greatly blessed for your kindness to us.
As Tony said, we depend on your support to keep bringing you this program and to continue our work equipping pastors, church leaders, and congregations to carry out God's kingdom agenda. Please let Tony know he can count on your help. And as a way of saying thanks for your contribution of any size, we'd like to send you all 6 CDs in Volume 1 of his current teaching series on the life of Esther, along with the comprehensive study guide that goes with it. Today's the last day this special offer will be available, and we don't want you to miss out. So take a moment to visit tonyevans.org today to make the arrangements, or give us a call at 1-800-800-3222. Members of our resource team are standing by to help you. And time is about to run out on our special Cyber Awesome event. Until tomorrow, everything in our online resource center is half off. That's a full 50% savings on life-changing gifts like books, Bible studies, CDs, and DVDs. Take advantage of your chance to stock up on presents with a purpose, or just treat yourself to something you've wanted this season. Visit our online resource center today at tonyevans.org. Right now, though, here's Dr. Evans once again with more of today's lesson.
The kingdom is the rule of God, the purposes of God, the agenda of God. In the kingdom, one thing matters, and that is this: you are blessed to be a blessing. When all that matters to you is you, then you are mattering little to the purposes of God. God never blesses you just for you. Let me say that again. God never, ever blesses you just for you. The quickest way to cut off your blessing is to keep your blessing just for you. In the mind of this diva, her mind was, I can't risk where I am for y'all, because she didn't make the connection to the kingdom of God, and therefore was not taking the risk for the program of God. And so what Mordecai wants her to know is, if God can't use you, You're not going to stop what God plans to do because God can find him somebody else. Today we live in a world of pomposity. We live in a world of people getting a big head because they got a little something. So you know people like that. You know people who all of a sudden, because now they got a nice job, they have developed a wrong view of themselves. If you want to know who a great person is a person whom God has blessed, but he never forgot where his blessing came from. A great person is a person who has been given a unique opportunity but hadn't forgotten where the opportunity came from. Some of us, when things weren't going as well, we found time for God, we found time for worship, we found time for service, but now that we've been blessed by God, he says, well, what you need to know is you and your father's house aren't going to fare well. In other words, this place of blessing is going to become a place of cursing. I don't know if anybody here has ever seen your blessings become a curse. How God turns that thing around against you that you were excited about when you first started because it was for you. He says, deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. You and your father's house will perish. What you have, you're going to lose. For who knows whether you've attained royalty, whether you're big time now, for such a time as this. God doesn't mind blessing you as long as he knows he can use you. So she sends back the word to Mordecai. Go assemble, verse 16, all the Jews who are found in Susa. Fast for me. Do not eat or drink 3 days, 3 nights. I and my maidens will fast. And then she utters those famous words. I'll take the risk. If I perish, I perish. Haman has decided he's building gallows now to hang Mordecai as a prelude to killing all the Jews. He wants to get rid of them. The whole book hinges on chapter 6, verse 1. Yes. During that night, the king could not sleep. So he gave an order to bring the book of records, the chronicles, and they were read before the king. The record keeper, all he knows is he's coming. Let me just open, you want me to read him the minutes? Let me read him the minutes. It just happened to fall on the page that deals with the fact that there's this dude named Mordecai in your kingdom, and there were 2 guys trying to kill you, and there's this dude named Mordecai who stopped them from killing you. If the king could go to sleep, none of this would happen. But the king can't sleep. And so because the king can't sleep, he says, wait a minute, you mean this guy Mordecai saved my life? Yeah, the guy Mordecai. What have we done for Mordecai? We haven't done anything for Mordecai. Well, shucks, if Mordecai saved my life, I better do something for Mordecai. To make a long story short, he calls Haman in. Haman, let me ask you a question. Haman, I want to know something. If there was somebody great in the kingdom who had done a great thing, what should we do for somebody great? The Bible says Haman thought Ahasuerus was talking about him. So he said everything he could think of. I'd buy him a house, I'd buy him a car, I'd buy him a boat, I'd give him a big bank account, I'd hold a banquet, I'd hold a party. Somebody who did all of that, I would throw the bank at it. He said, good idea. Why don't you go set it up so that we can have it for Mordecai? Oh, wait a minute. All this happened because the king couldn't go to sleep. Let me tell you how great God is. God works behind the scenes, keeping folk awake when they ought to be asleep. When you decide to take a risk to be used by him, you don't see God moving in the shadows until she decides to take a risk and says, if I perish, I perish. Now, Haman now has to set up a party after he's been building a gallows for the guy he's trying to kill. I believe the Bible says God will make your enemies your footstool. I believe the Bible says that. Proverbs 21 verse 1 says, the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and he maneuvers it wherever he wills. Now the good news about that is, if the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he's the most powerful man in the world, whose heart is your boss? toss his hand in? Whose house is your family member's hands in? Whose heart is your circumstance in? If God can run the government, he sure can run your little mess that you got happening in your life by keeping folk awake. By keeping folk awake. God has a way of doing things. I used to work at Trailways. They had this thing going on where you punch out for breakfast, but then they would punch you in an hour later when you're supposed to be in, but you would go sleep. So you could go sleep for 3 or 4 hours, but you'd be punched in being paid. Well, they came to me and said, this is the scam, and everybody participates in it. Well, as a Christian and somebody preparing for the ministry, I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. They said, but no, you don't understand. Everybody does this. When the buses came in, and I was supposed to be unloading them with 4 other guys, the 4 other guys would sit down and let me unload them by myself as punishment for not going along with the program. And it's at nighttime, so nobody knows what's going on. About a month after this had happened, I got a call to come to the office of Trailway Bus Station. And they said, unbeknownst to the night shift, we have had one of our supervisors coming around at night. We are aware of the scheme that they have been working to punch folk in even though they were not working while they were asleep. He says, and we also noticed you weren't participating. So we have decided to raise you up and make you the night supervisor over everybody else in the company. God was working behind the scenes. I didn't know there was a night supervisor, but God had worked that thing out so that my enemies became my employees. Did you know sometime when you sleep, God is working it out? When you think nothing is happening, God is turning all kind of things and twisting all kind of things to work it out. You can call that luck if you want to. You can call that chance if you want to. But I know it was the invisible hands of God working it out. The Bible says that Haman went home and cried like a baby. He got to make up a party for the man he was getting ready to hang. Esther says, I want you to preserve the Jews from someone who wants to kill them. Ahasuerus says, who wants to kill the Jews? She says, Haman wants to kill the Jews. He got ticked off at Haman, had to walk outside to think what he was going to do. Haman comes over and grabs the queen to plead for his life. But Ahasuerus comes in and see his arms wrapped around his wife. He said, oh, no, you didn't. You mean to tell me I'm here thinking about whether I'm going to let you live or die and you're going to be groping on my woman? Oh, no. The Bible says before he had a chance to utter a word, they came and put a cape over his head, and then it says, and they hung him on the gallows he had built for Mordecai. God is able to turn it around.
Dr. Tony Evans, talking about how God can turn around even the most desperate circumstances in a message he's titled Ester The Diva God Used. If you'd like to hear the full-length version of this lesson, including material we didn't have time to include today, just visit tonyevans.org and search on